Hi, I'm dating expert Hayley Quinn, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about 3 invisible barriers that could be holding you back from love, from dating, from meeting any decent guys. Now, you might have heard the phrases like, be careful not to scare a guy off, or you don't want to do this, or how do I catch and keep a man? And often all of the dating advice is centered around how to not do things that put a guy off. Now, I actually think when we really look into it, the barriers that might be keeping you from meeting a great person or hung up on an ex are all internal. And through this video and the 3 barriers that I'm going to highlight to you today, I'm hoping that we can actually remove them for you and get you in a better space to find the great guys that you want. So if you're sitting around there thinking, I never meet anybody ever, and I never can find that connection and that partner that I'm looking for, I want you to listen up carefully to this video, because I believe that actually the people that we're dating, and this sounds a bit hippie, so bear with me, are just a mirror to ourselves. They're just a way of demonstrating something that's going on inside of us that maybe we don't want to have to deal with. So invisible barrier number 1 is the fantasy. So the fantasy is kind of where you may have been dating a guy and he seemed really good at the beginning, and then he started to treat you in a way that wasn't brilliant. And in fact, all of your friends are like so happy doing a little rain dance that he was actually kicked out of your life. However, you can't help it, but sometimes you're going to sleep at night and you're thinking, I actually really miss him. And you imagine and you remember the good times. You find yourself creeping through his Facebook or his Instagram. Now, this, in fact, is not about him, it's about you. That's because I believe that when we have a fantasy image of someone which doesn't really represent how he was treating you or the reality of your relationship, that fantasy of, oh, there's this amazing person out there and we're perfect for each other, but he needs to overcome his fear of intimacy first, that stops us, it stops you from really connecting with that feeling of, maybe I am actually by myself, maybe I haven't got anything going on dating-wise. What do I do to deal with those feelings of being by myself? What feelings am I hiding from that I'm masking in this big ball of fantasy that is this guy? So your internal barrier number 1 to actually processing those feelings and getting out there and meeting someone amazing could be a fantasy of somebody else that's stopping you from dealing with stuff, which is stopping you from then actually meeting someone awesome. Internal barrier number 2 is objectifying a guy by accident. Now, I bet you're thinking, Hayley, I don't objectify anyone. I sometimes get objectified, but I'm not around objectifying a guy, so just bear with me. This is kind of what will happen sometimes if you feel like you keep meeting people and you're getting dates, but you just never really feel anything for anyone, and you never feel that level of emotional connection or that you really enjoy spending time with them. In fact, it's all a bit meh. There's a few reasons for this, but a big one that I've discovered is that it could be an internal barrier where you're selecting guys based on what they represent versus how they make you feel. So an example of this would be you're on a dating app and you're like, wow, he's the right age, he does the right kind of job, he's the right height, I don't know. And you're like, yes. Instead of thinking, how does this person relate to me? So instead, if you stop looking for a thing or a perfect on paper person and swap your focus to thinking, how do I actually feel in this person's company? Do I like how they message me? Are they available to me? Are we communicating well? Do they make me laugh? Do I like it when they cuddle me? Like, these are actually better questions and better grounds to select going on a date with someone over. So be careful not to fall foul of invisible barrier number 2, which is accidentally objectifying a guy and selecting men on all the wrong criteria. Invisible barrier number 3 is you feel awkward as you'd feel really awkward when you're flirting. Like, flirting is not something you do. Being friendly is fine. You have lots of good social relationships. When it comes to demonstrating that you're sexually attracted to someone, that feels mortifying. That takes you right back to being 13 years old, listening to Take That on a mini disc. That's where you go to when you meet someone you're attracted to. Now, again, if there's a disconnect between like your mind and your body, and you know you're attracted to someone, but you feel demonstrating that in any way is awkward, or you're worried about being negatively judged for expressing that, and in fact your default reaction to meeting someone you're attracted to is to look at your feet or run away, then that's that internal barrier where we need to get you more on board on your head and your body connecting a bit better, and for you to enter into less self-judgment about putting yourself out there and being flirtatious. Now, the reason I created this Invisible Barriers video is because I want you to realize that whether it's the ex that you feel you're still hung up on, or you don't really connect with anybody on your date with, or you feel that guys don't find you sexy, that's putting the problem outside of yourself. When unfortunately, as I am a big fan of personal responsibility, the right thing to do is to bring it back and internally think, hang on, what is going on for me here that's stopping me from getting where I want to be? Now, that internal barrier is also most in your control and your power to fix it, because I recognize the importance of dealing with this stuff first and not just thinking you have just met all the wrong guys or where do all the good guys hang out. They are red herrings. The real good stuff that you really need to look at is these internal barriers and points of resistance. Because of this, I have decided to create a special Women's Day by women, for women, all female speakers and coaches dedicated to you blasting through your internal barriers, finding true self-love and investing in yourself and meeting other like-minded and inspiring women. If you want to find out more, head to hayleyquinn.com/summit, SUMMIT. Link is beneath this video. It's in a beautiful Zone 1 location on December 2nd, 2017. So if you've missed it, I'm sorry, but I will do another one next year. I hope you've enjoyed this video on internal barriers, and I would really look forward to seeing you again soon.